After he had one night caught two thieves and knocked their heads together, knocked them so that there was not the slightest need to take them to the police station afterwards, everyone in the neighbourhood began to feel a great respect for him. Even those who came in the daytime, by no means robbers, but simply unknown persons, at the sight of the terrible porter, waved and shouted to him as though he could hear their shouts. With all the rest of the servants, Gerasim was on terms hardly friendly. They were afraid of him, but familiar. He regarded them as his fellows. They explained themselves to him by signs, and he understood them and exactly carried out all orders, but knew his own rights too, and soon no one dared to take his seat at the table. Gerasim was altogether of a strict and serious temper. He liked order in everything. Even the cocks did not dare to fight in his presence, or woe betide them. Directly he caught sight of them, he would seize them by the legs, swing them 10 times round in the air like a wheel, and throw them in different directions. There were geese, too, kept in the yard, but the goose, as is well known, is a dignified and reasonable bird. Gerasim felt a respect for them, looked after them and fed them. He was himself not unlike a gander of the steppes. He was assigned a little garret over the kitchen. He arranged it himself to his own liking, made a bedstead in it of oak boards on 4 stumps of wood for legs, a truly titanic bedstead. One might have put a ton or 2 on it. It would not have bent under the load. Under the bed was a solid chest, and in a corner stood a little table of the same strong kind, and near the table a 3-legged stool, so solid and squat that Gerasim himself would sometimes pick it up and drop it again with a smile of delight. The garret was locked up by means of a padlock that looked like a kalach or basket-shaped loaf, only black. The key of this padlock Gerasim always carried about him in his girdle. He did not like people to come to his garret. So passed a year, at the end of which a little incident befell Gerasim. The old lady, in whose service he lived as a porter, adhered in everything to the ancient ways and kept a large number of servants. In her house were not only laundresses, sempstresses, carpenters, tailors and tailoresses, there was even a harness maker. He was reckoned as a veterinary surgeon too, and a doctor for the servants. There was a household doctor for the mistress, and there was lastly a shoemaker, by the name Kapiton Klimev, a sad drunkard. Klimov regarded himself as an injured creature whose merits were unappreciated, a cultivated man from Petersburg who ought not to be living in Moscow without occupation, in the wilds, so to speak, and if he drank, as he himself expressed it emphatically, with a blow on his chest, it was sorrow drove him to it. So one day his mistress had a conversation about him with her head steward, Gavria, a man whom, judging solely from his little yellow eyes and nose like a duck's beak, fate itself, it seemed, had marked out as a person in authority. The lady expressed her regret at the corruption of the morals of Kapiton, who had only the evening before been picked up somewhere in the street. "Now, Gravir," she observed all of a sudden, "now, if we were to marry him, what do you think? Perhaps he would be steadier?" "Why not marry him indeed, He could be married, answered Gravir, "and it would be a very good thing to be sure, "Yes, only who is to marry him?" "I, but that's at your pleasure, He may, anyway, so to say, be wanted for something. He can't be turned adrift altogether." "I fancy he likes Tatiana." Gravir was on the point of making some reply, but he shut his lips tightly. "Yes, let him marry Tatiana," the lady decided, taking a pinch of snuff complacently. "Do you hear?" "Yes, Gavria articulated, and he withdrew. Returning to his own room, it was in a little lodge, and was almost filled up with metal-bound trunks. Gavria first sent his wife away, and then sat down at the window and pondered. His mistress's unexpected arrangement had clearly put him in a difficulty. At last he got up and sent to call Kapiton. Kapiton made his appearance. But before reporting their conversation to the reader, we considered it not out of place to relate in a few words who was this Tatiana, whom it was to be Kapiton's lot to marry, and why the great lady's order had disturbed the steward. Tatiana, one of the laundresses referred to above, as a trained and skilful laundress, she was in charge of the fine linen only, was a woman of 28, thin, fair-haired, with moles on her left cheek. Moles on the left cheek are regarded as of